Today, we're going to count to 1,000. We're going to be working on counting within 1,000 and being able to represent a three-digit number using a proof drawing. What are some things that there might be 1,000 of? At the playground, you might make a pile of sand that has 1,000 pieces of sand. Or when you look at your grass, you might be able to count 1,000 blades of grass. Or you might hope to one day have 1,000 Pokemon packs. Or maybe while you're at home, you might be working on a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Let's read a fun book now about numbers. We are going to read a story called A Place for Zero, and it's a math adventure by Angeline Sparagna Lopresti, and it's illustrated by Phyllis Hornum. Not long ago, Zero lay floating on the calm waters of Central Lake. He could hear the happy cries of the other numbers, 1 through 9, as they played in the meadow. Zero didn't play add 'em up because he had nothing to add. He felt he had no place among the other digits. Zero lived in Digitaria, a curious country ruled by King Multiplus and Queen Adeline. Their positive outlook helped the kingdom prosper. Count Infinity, the king's trusted advisor, was the one who shaped all the numbers. When old digits retired, he placed them with shiny new numerals. Every number knew its place. A 7 was the number of days in a week, and a 5 was the number of points on a star. A 2 was handy for counting the wheels on a bicycle. The ones were important because Count Infinity added them together to make the other numbers. Every number had a place except zero. Count Infinity had been experimenting when he formed the strange new digit, but zero meant nothing, and no one was sure what his job would be. King Multiplus declared that no more zeros would be made until they found a purpose for this one. Zero was alone. Nowadays, no one mentions zero much. The few times someone tried to count with him, they always ended up with nothing. I need to find my place, Zero thought. He decided to go back to visit the wise old Count Infinity and ask his advice. Count Infinity made incredible things. He made knickknacks, whatsits, thingamajigs. The most impressive thing he ever made was an enormous machine, the Numberator. The Numberator had a vacuum tube on one side and a large curved spout on the other. When Count Infinity placed digits under the tube, they were sucked up with a great clinking and whirling until finally they emerged from the spout with a totally new number. Count Infinity could put in two ones to make a bouncy baby two, or three ones to make a roly poly little three. As Zero stood shyly in the doorway, Count Infinity looked up and noticed him. Ah, young Zero, Infinity exclaimed. You're just in time to help me figure out a better way to make a one. What do you mean? Zero asked. Well, most numbers are easy to make. I simply pop in a handful of ones into my trusty numberator. Making a one, though, that's trickier. To make a one, Count Infinity explained, I spent hours handcrafting it from a special material called Integrium. Why don't you just stick one into the numberator? Zero asked. Count Infinity sighed. I've tried that, but the numberator adds. You have to put in at least two numbers. No two numbers that I can think of add up to. Count Infinity eyed Zero in a strange way. Could you put this one into the numberator for me? The Count asked. Just help the one stand right under the vacuum tube. As Zero did, he was sucked up into the numberator along with the one. Zero barely had time to realize what was happening before he was out the other side. Sitting next to him was the old one and a shiny new one. Wonderful, Count Infinity cried. We have discovered your additive identity. I bet my binomials that if we add you to any number, we will always come up with the same number. You can help replenish the supply of digits in Digitaria. Zero thanked the Count and slowly walked home. He was happy to have a job, but somehow he wasn't satisfied. Ones could make digits too. He wanted to do something no one else could do. I still feel that I haven't really found my place, he said to himself. As Zero walked, he had an idea. I wonder what would happen if I were multiplied with another number. Everyone knew that multiplication was a powerful thing, and only the king could use it. Often the product of the multiplied numbers would be too large for anyone to understand. Zero swallowed hard at the boldness of his idea. Then he stood up as straight as a round digit can. I will ask the king, he decided, and set off for the castle. At the gates of the castle, Zero was stopped by two sharp looking sevens. What kind of number are you? One guard asked. You look like a nine someone squished. Both guards began to laugh. I need to ask the king about multiplication, said Zero. The guards stopped laughing. They looked at each other. Well, said one. You'd better go right in. Zero entered the castle. He saw King Multiplus and Queen Adeline on their thrones. Crowds of numbers filled the hall waiting to address them. The five standing next to Zero asked why he was there. I'm asking the king to multiply me, Zero answered. The five gasped. Other numbers who heard began to whisper. Absolute nonsense. It's too much. Soon a loud buzz rippled through the hall. What is the meaning of this? King Multiplus boomed, displeased by the growing confusion. It's zero, Queen Adeline told him, and something about multiplication. Multiplication? The king exclaimed. That is serious business. Let him come forward and explain himself. The room was silent. I would like to be multiplied, Zero told the king. I thought it might help me find my place and purpose. Yes, the king said. I have wondered myself what would happen. He ordered the guards to fetch his multi-tube. The tube was made of solid integrium. We need to find someone who's willing to be multiplied with zero, the king said. No one moved. Finally, a young one stepped forward. I'll do it, the one said bravely. Together, Zero and the One jumped into the factor end of the tube. All that could be heard was the clinking and whirring of the tube. Suddenly, Zero and the One shot out of the other end of the tube. As Zero looked around, he saw beside him a small round figure who looked strangely familiar. Five alive! Exclaimed the king. It's another Zero. The numbers were speechless. Why, we must try this again, declared the flabbergasted king. This time we will multiply zero with a seven. He called for one of his seven guards. The guard's knees shook as he stepped forward. The same thing happened with zero and the seven. The king laughed and said, Well, Zero, you have your answer. No matter what number we multiply you with, we get zero. This was big news. The other numbers chattered excitedly, but Zero said, Now there are more zeros with no real place. The one patted Zero on the back. Zero was glad to have a friend at a time like this. I want to make new numbers that no one has ever seen before, Zero said. Sire, what number do you get if you add 1 to 9? It was one of those questions that no one ever asked. The king coughed. As everyone knows, anything bigger than 9 is many, he said. We don't think about 1 plus 9 because there is no digit for a number that big. Zero looked at the one standing next to him. He rubbed his eyes. Together, he and the one looked like this. 10. Sire, he cried, look at us. We can make a new number to represent what you get when you add 1 and 9. The king scratched his chin. Zero asked 9 ones to stand together. Sire, if we add one more to this group, we could use a 0 to show that all those ones have moved over to the next place. When I stand in this place next to my friend 1 as a 0, I can represent 0 ones. But he now represents 9 plus 1. I like your thinking, Zero, the king said. But, he whispered, I can't call the new number 9 plus 1. Quick, think of a new name. Zero whispered back, this new number will attend to a lot of business. Could we call it attend? The king couldn't hear Zero very well, so in a loud voice he said, I proclaim that this new number will be called a 10. The numbers all loved it. Hooray for 10! Hooray for 10! They cheered. The numbers crowded around Zero and asked if they could stand beside him. Zero gave each digit a turn, and soon they were making wonderful new numbers like 20, 30, 60, and 90. Before long, they were standing next to each other in different combinations to make all kinds of new numbers 32, 47, 89, and on and on. Big numbers didn't seem quite so scary anymore. When the excitement calmed down, Zero felt someone tugging at his arm. What about me? Asked a small voice. Is it my turn to stand next to you? The new little Zero asked. I'm sorry, Zero said. Two zeros standing next to each other still equal nothing. The little Zero looked so sad that the brave one and Zero each put an arm around her. Suddenly, Zero had a thought. Look, sire, he called to the king. What do we look like? The king said slowly, Why, you look like a new number, bigger than any I've ever seen, bigger even than the new number 90. Zero said proudly, We can represent what you get when you have 10 tens. Splendid, exclaimed the king. Soon all the other digits were clamoring to stand next to the two zeros. They made numbers like 500 and 700. A 9 got so excited when he helped make the number 900 that he almost fell over. In the middle of the excitement, Zero noticed Count Infinity beaming at him. Well, Zero, the Count smiled. Did you find what you were looking for? Zero nodded. I just wanted to mean more than nothing, he said. And now I think I finally found my place. From then on, Zero played Add 'em Up as happily as everyone else. I hope you enjoyed that book. Let's learn our learning target for today. It is, I can count within 1,000. Let's learn that with our mirror words. Mirrors on. I can count within 1,000. Let's try that again. I can count within 1,000. Great job. Mirrors off. What is this? That's right. That's a dollar. And we can write a dollar like this. Now, a dollar can also be represented in other ways. So we have 100 cents here, 100 pennies. So a dollar is also equal to 100 pennies or 100 cents. So there's 100 cents in a dollar. Now, count how many dollars I have here. I have $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9. I have $10 here. If I wanted to see how many pennies it would take to make $10, I know that there are 100 pennies for each dollar. So I can count up by hundreds. So let's count up all of these pennies. 100 cents, 200 cents, 300 cents, 400 cents, 500 cents, 600 cents, 700 cents, 800 cents, 900 cents, 1,000 cents. We can also say 1,000. We can call that 1,000. So there are 1,000 cents or 1,000 pennies in $10. Now, let's work on how we can represent 3-digit numbers. Let's review how to do a proof drawing to represent a number. What do we draw to show that we have 1? That's right, we draw a circle. What do we draw to show that we have 10? That's right, we draw a stick. What do we draw to show that we have 100? Well, 100 is equal to 10 tens. So I can box those 10 tens in order to show 100. Now, to save some time so we don't always have to draw out those 10 tens, we can also just use a box by itself to show that we have 100. So let's look at this number. What number is this? How many hundreds do I have? That's right, I have 100. How many tens do I have? Well, they're grouped into 5 groups, which makes it easier to count. So I have 5 tens plus 3 more. 5 and 3 is 8, so I have 8 tens or 80. How many ones do I have? That's right, 3. So if I add all of those up, I get 183. So this proof drawing represents. Now we are going to practice counting by ones from a number that begins with 100 to a number that begins with 200. So I'm going to draw a number on here. What number is that? That's right, it's 190. Now, we're going to count on from 190 to 200. So count with me. 191, 192, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 200. Now we have 100, a box with 9 tens, so 9 sticks, and we have 10 circles. I know that 10 circles is also equal to 110, so I can make a new 10. Now I have 10 sticks. What do we know when we have 10 sticks? That's right. We can make a new 100. So my 9 sticks are my 9 tens plus 10 tens are equal to 100. So I have 100 already, plus 9 tens and 10 ones, and now my total is 200. Let's keep on adding on. Now let's count up to 210. So 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210. How many more ones did I write? That's right, 10 more. So now I can make another 10. So those 10 ones are equal to 110. So now I have 200s and 110 or 210. Let's keep going. 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220. How many more circles did I just write? That's right, 10 more. So now we've gotten all the way up to 220. We have 200s and 210s, or 220. Now we're going to practice counting our numbers using our gestures. So when we're counting, we're going to use our fingers to show our ones. And then if we make a new 10, we're going to flash our new 10. And if we make a new 100, we're going to make a box. So let's get ready to go. We're starting at 190, 191, 192, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 200. Oh, we made a new 10, but we also made a new 100. So box that 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220. Great job counting over the hundreds with me. Now let's go on and review our learning target. So mirrors on. I can count within 1,000. Mirrors off. Great job. Make sure you teach that to somebody today and have a great rest of your day.